Hi there, this is Shelly B from Handwork Hangout. I'd like to welcome you to our How to Crochet series. This video is focusing on the slip stitch. Okay, so what are you going to need to get started? First of all, as always, you're going to need some yarn, worsted weight, or whatever you have on hand. And then, of course, a crochet hook of an appropriate size to go with your yarn. If you're using that Goldilocks yarn that we like to call the worsted weight, you're going to need an H, an 8, or a 5 millimeter. As you know, these are all different names for the same size hook. And we also need a nice quiet place to practice so that your cat isn't trying to grab your yarn while you are crocheting. And no, I wouldn't have any idea what that feels like. Oh, goodness. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, now let's learn how to make a slip stitch. I am going to chain one and turn my work. Now, the reason for using a slip stitch, it's kind of a traveling stitch. This is something you do either to close a piece, to hook one piece to another, or to get from point A to point B without adding any bulk to your work. So let's say we wanted to go across this piece 3 or 4 stitches and then start making more stitches. The slip stitch will get you there, and it will be invisible. So we've chained one, and so that's going to be our first stitch. We're going to skip this one. We'll skip the first stitch and go through the second stitch on the hook, and you grab the yarn, pull up a loop. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that loop right on through the loop that was already on our hook. All right, now I'm going to do that again. Go through the stitch, catching both loops, go under both loops, grab the yarn and pull it through. Now there's two loops, hook. Now you're going to take that loop you just pulled up and take it through the original loop. And you see how we're just laying a stitch on top of a stitch? Very flat, very thin. So we're traveling across without adding any bulk at all. And I'll do one more. Go through the stitch, pull it up, and through the loop. And that's all there is to a slip stitch. Now see, if we wanted to, we could go back to making more double crochets. So we would chain 3 and start in. And we didn't have to break, we didn't have to cut our yarn and move it. We just did a slip stitch across, and now we're making a shape, you see? And so that is how you do a slip stitch.
Thanks so much for visiting with us at Handwork Hangout and learning how to crochet a slip stitch. For more how-tos and inspiration, please stop on by handworkhangout.com, where we are a really great group of needle nerds. We're just covered in bling. Our battle cry is, if it stands still, embellish it. See you there.